Of a 19-year-old man who became a hate figure after he was falsely accused of raping a woman in Essex, so the allegation has ruined his life.
Sarah Jane Hilliard faces jail after making the claim. Afterwards, she even had the audacity to apply to the Criminal Injuries Authority for £7,500 in compensation. Lorna Ramsey reports.
Happier times for the Bowers family. Grant Bowers' father, Tony, tells me they went on a trip of a lifetime to Florida 8 years ago. But in July last year, everything changed when Grant was falsely accused of raping a woman at Basildon in Essex. Now the woman who made that allegation, 20-year-old Sarah Jane Hilliard, faces jail after being convicted of perverting the course of justice. Tony says his son, who has signed an exclusive deal with a national newspaper, had to move out of his flat in Basildon because of threats against him.
It's not only my son, but other men in this position. Their lives are tainted. My son's life is ruined, at least for the time being, but maybe for longer term. As I say, he's been forced out of his home, he's received threats. The word is that there's £100 being offered to find out where he is. Well, that's not being offered lightly, I would suggest. He's done nothing wrong. He doesn't deserve this.
Hilliard initially told police she met Grant at this nightclub. She claimed they shared a taxi and he attacked her in a toilet cubicle at Basildon railway station. But video footage taken from this nightclub proved she was lying. It showed Hilliard and Grant kissing and holding hands before leaving. They walked to the station where they had consensual sex in the toilets. The Crown Prosecution Service says false claims waste thousands of pounds and can cause immense distress to victims.
In any cases of rape, for a victim to come forward and to make a statement is very, very traumatic. For people to make those statements and then transpire that they do lie, obviously cast doubt in the minds of other genuine rape victims and prevents them from coming forward.
Hilliard was due to be sentenced at Basildon Crown Court last week, but her sentencing was adjourned until September, so further psychiatric reports can be carried out. Lorna Ramsey, Anglia News, Basildon.
There are growing safety fears over the number of oil tankers anchoring off the Suffolk coast.
Nearly 40 are clearly visible from the beach in Southwold, and the local MP is worried that they're carrying out potentially dangerous ship-to-ship fuel transfers less than 10 miles from the coastline. Martin Stew has this report.
If you're lucky enough to be spending time at Southwold on the Suffolk coast, you may notice a new addition to the picture postcard views. And it's a sight which is not overly welcome. Scores of tankers, some full of fuel, anchored offshore. City traders predict at any one time 72 million barrels of jet fuel and gas oil is floating around in the North European seas, and much of it is now parked off the Suffolk coast. Nearly 40 tankers have laid anchor less than 10 miles out to sea. Some are waiting for a berth at Felixstowe, but others are carrying out ship-to-ship fuel transfers, pumping thousands of gallons of oil between them out at sea to avoid paying port costs. It's completely legal, but has led to local safety fears.
If anything does go wrong, the onshore winds and the onshore tide is bound to bring it to these lovely sandy beaches.
Shouldn't be there. Well, I don't think so anyway. I mean, the traffic was out there, I mean, or any oil spillages, or just not good at all, I don't think, no.
You know, but like I'm a fisherman and that, you know, if they infect the waters and that, we can't fish anymore. That's what winds me up.
Back in June, several schools and offices were evacuated in Lowestoft and Southwold after a cloud of strong-smelling gas vented by one of the tankers swept across the coast. The gas turned out to be harmless, but the local MP doesn't think we should be taking such a risk in an area so reliant upon tourism.
It's a place people come to especially because of the beauty of the coast, and then of course we've got the Minsmere Bird Reserve, so there's every reason to protect this coast, and I am amazed that the government has allowed this here, whereas it's refused it off Lyme Regis. I don't know what Lyme Regis is supposed to have that we don't have, and therefore I'm determined to make sure that we are as protected as anyone else in the country.
He's now lobbying the government to introduce a ban off the Suffolk coast, something that can't come too soon for those relying on the tourism trade here. Martin Stew, Anglia News, Southwold.
Great Yarmouth Borough Council will tonight discuss plans to remove the platform at the end of the town's historic jetty. The 450-year-old platform is thought to be where Lord Nelson landed in 1801 on his return from the Battle of the Nile. Local historians say it's part of Great Yarmouth's heritage and should be saved. The council, though, says it's unsafe and they can't afford the £500,000 needed to repair it, although they do want to repair the rest of the jetty.
A study by consumer magazine Which found that the Norfolk and Norwich University Hospital is making more than £1 million a year from parking charges. Critics describe the charges as a tax on the sick, but the hospital says the money is used to provide better services.